It's now time to dive into non-biased and clean conversations with Uplifting Buzz Podcasts with your hosts, Gary Johnson and Marcus Grove. Why wait? Let's dive on in.
Well, welcome back to another episode of Uplifting Buzz Podcast with your host, Gary Johnson, and my wonderful co-host, as always, Mr. Marcus Grove, Uplift Mobile. And this show is being presented to you by Buzz Report Media and Uplift Mobile, two awesome and giant media companies right here on the Gulf Coast, bringing you updated news and all of the happenings in and around Mobile area. And as always, we are honored to have you join in to listen to another episode of Uplifting Buzz Podcast. We have some more great and awesome topics on today, but as always, just a reminder, this is a non-biased show, and where non-biased conversations happen. We do not take sides with one or the other. We just bring you the facts and have a clean, honest, open, non-biased dialogue about what's happening and what's important to our community. So that being said, we're going to jump right on into our non-biased conversation with my co-host, Mr. Marcus Grove. Mr. Marcus Grove, how are you doing today?
Yeah, doing pretty good, actually. Had some great weather out there, even though it's a little chilly. But, it's a good day to be alive, and 2025, starting this new month, and new leadership in the county of Mobile.
Yeah, we are in a new month, man. They're almost to the end of the year, and new beginnings here in Mobile County. Awesome weather. It's been cool the last couple of days, and they predicting to be kind of cooler on next week. And man, I was just going through some of the weather, some meteorologists reports long term. And none of this is set in stone, but they just try to predict weather. That's what they went to school for. But we got some snow here in Mobile back in January of this year, if I'm not mistaken, and got quite a few inches. I mean, it stuck to the ground. It stuck around for a few days, and had most of us in the houses, couldn't drive or move around. But they have the Euro models and I think the Canadian model have snow coming back to the Gulf Coast this time this year around Christmas.
Wow.
So now that's a long ways out. Don't get excited. I just wanted to throw that in since you said something about the weather. But that would be interesting for the Gulf Coast. I never experienced a snowy Christmas. My mom and most of my family have, because they lived in New York, in the Bronx, and New Jersey, there across the river, in Detroit, in Chicago, and all up north. So they experienced that type of Christmas before. But me, growing up, I never experienced a snowy Christmas. I would love to see that this year. Hey, it may not. I don't know. I'm not the weatherman, so I'm not going to tell you it's going to be snowing for Christmas here in Mobile or along the Gulf Coast. I leave that to the professionals. But yeah, that was out there. That's what's trending out there in some of the places with meteorologists just predicting this weather that we may have some snow around in December here on the Gulf Coast. So we'll wait to see. Hey, nobody knows but God what's going to happen. But Mr. Grove, man, yes, you said we are stepping into a new season of leadership here on the Gulf Coast in Mobile County. We have four new mayors to be sworn in Mobile County alone on yesterday. Several new council members have been sworn in across this county as well in different municipalities. And history was made in Mobile County on yesterday over in the city of Pritchard with Mayor Corletta Davis becoming the first African American woman to hold that seat there in the city of Pritchard. Also, history was also made there in Pritchard yesterday on the city council, where there is a 4-1 majority women city council for the city of Pritchard. One male will occupy that diocese for the next 4 years, unless something happens or something changes. But in the foreseen future, they have a majority women's council along with the mayor, and that equals a majority woman leadership for the city of Pritchard. So, man, it was a good day. It was a good day for Mobile County on yesterday, whether you like it or not. We have some new mayors, beginning to walk in their new shoes as of today. First full day as of today. And then in Mobile, Mayor Spiro Chirigatis stepped in his new role on yesterday. Samantha Ingram was sworn in on yesterday, and she proposed her first ordinance on today for something on regarding something downtown Mobile. So she's already working, and then you all had Bo Fleming also sworn in to take District 5, Joel Day's seat. And then you had those returning council members like Small and Gina Gregory, Josh Woods, and Ben Reynolds to return and take their seats again. Also Corey Penn for District 1. So, yeah, that's what's happened on yesterday, man. But also, man, on the other hand, from the swearing in on yesterday, we had the first black mayor in 25 years to be sworn in, a young man in his 30s, to be sworn in as mayor of Greenville, Alabama yesterday. We had the first African-American mayor ever to be sworn in Baldwin County in Bay Minette on yesterday. We had the first black mayor in Frisco City to be sworn in on yesterday. It's a lot of historic stuff happened yesterday in Alabama. Also, Mr. Grove, man, besides the swearing in of these new mayors and council members, we had some resignations on yesterday. We had the resignation of police chief up in Bay Minette. When the mayor got sworn in, the chief of police submitted his resignation. And then we have another resignation of police chief in Saraland. So we have also two new police chiefs, interim police chiefs, with new mayors, one in Baldwin County in Bay Minette, and one here in Mobile County in Saraland. I don't know any other things that may have happened with these new administrations thus far, but those are the two notable that have happened since the swearing ins yesterday. And then we got the news today, Mr. Grove, that we've all been waiting on. Who will serve in the Spiro administration? And we have those 8 new, well, I'm not going to say 8 new, but those 8 names of officials that's going to take their roles into the Cheer Goddess administration for the next 4 years, or however long they stay. And we know that one thing for sure, promises was kept on the campaign trail. He did not get rid of some of the members of the old administration. As you know, the speculation was out there. The reason he got that endorsement because he made an agreement to keep those individuals into those positions, and they just changed the name of those positions. That's he no longer has a chief of staff. He just gave them a new title but same roles, which they still doing what they do. So, Mr. Grove, take us down through there, man. Give us a little recap and your feedback on all of this that transpired on yesterday, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I found it interesting, yesterday, right after daylight savings time and the change in weather, we seen basically a change in administration. And I think with Mobile, Pritchard, Saraland, Chickasaw, all over the Gulf Coast, having the change in peoples, it was very interesting. in Mobile, I did watch it on YouTube with the mayor inauguration, the city council inauguration. We had um, the Samantha Ingram being in contention in District 2 is almost like um, something foreign to be in a lawsuit and also being inaugurated into this position. To see it happen, to feel it happen, I just, even though I have been for the Zogby Act, I just don't see a sitting judge, going against, the Zogby Act. But then again, at the same time, having Samantha Ingram already inaugurated, it will be tough to explain that, especially fiscally, to get her out of that seat. Um, I think that the city council and everything is set in stone now, pending, of course, the ending of the court case. But I find it interesting, and this is one of the first that I've seen. It happen in this type of case. Um, but also in Pritchard, I find it very refreshing, to say the least, to have this team, and you know everybody's for them. Everybody's for them. I think that the city of Mobile needs to get on board with the city of Pritchard as well to work together. And even though Spiro Cheragatas have pretty much the same individuals in those seats, I think that the one thing that they need to alter is how they have worked in the past with the city of Pritchard. They work better with Chickasaw and Citronelle being further away, Baldwin County, Foley, than they do with Pritchard. And it's telling. We really need to get it together with working together, not just within the same city, but in adjacent cities. And I find it very interesting. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. I do have some contentions about some things. I don't know if you've seen the picture of the new mayor partying at or with a group of people at the Greer's downtown.
Right.
It was not diverse like the city of Mobile is. It was not. It didn't have many others there. I wonder where Carletta Davis had her event at, or if she even had one. I wonder
Yeah,
as well.
she had her inaugural gala last night, and I think it was in the same place as the inaugural swearing in ceremony at City Hall auditorium.
Awesome. With the new mayor of Mobile being at Greer's, and of course, his wife is of that Fat Greer family as well. I find it very, they're definitely supporting their own and their and the business, which is a great thing. Yeah, my only contentions about it is that it wasn't diverse at all, and that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, I did saw that as the first thing I looked for, and I was kind of wondering was even African Americans was even invited. I did see maybe one or two heads of African American in there, maybe a female or two. But I was just wondering the same thing. And it wasn't publicized or anything like that. So it may be just about invite only. But, in order to serve the city of a majority black and you don't invite blacks, that's telling in itself. And it just shows you the mindset that they have. And I'm not really sold on this Spiro Cheragatas administration or leadership or election. I still say that we have much more work to do. And there's no intentions, to be inclusive. And this is just me talking. Maybe some others feel the same way that I do. And like I said, I'm not biased. I'm not in same way. If Barbara Drummond would have won, and last night was her night to celebrate, and then if she didn't invite no whites to her celebration, I would say the same thing about her. Why not? Because we have to be one city for one people. Being united for one purpose and one mission, and that's important. Especially if we want to get along and want to make this work for the better of all of us, not just by pointing one or two people of color to say you did something for African Americans and, or, they're in a position. No. And I look at the position that they're in, it's really not that effective in a way. It's status quo mode. They're expecting things to go how, it have been, laid out for them. And I was listening to an interview on Channel 5 that Sandy Stimson gave on, a couple of days before he was out of office. He said he wasn't really entirely going away. He wants to stick. He's going to be around for a mentorship. Well, basically, I mean, he's going to be around to, be the commander in chief of the city, to tell Spiro what to do and what not to do. That's their way of, you got to be able to dig down into the, the political talk and the wordings of these individuals, how they talk, and then you'll figure your way, out or through this situation, by the words of an individual, so I'm just, I'm like you on my applaud that, he did not invite African Americans or people of color to that event. And I stand to be corrected if he did, and none showed up. But for what I saw, I'm going off of what I saw at this moment, and that was the. At the end of the day, it's I always say, man, I wish the best for him and the city of Mobile.
Yeah, I actually looked at the picture, analyzed the picture deeply, and you could see a few in the room. Nobody was talking to them. Nobody was engaging them like you've seen in the other conversations. They were just there, It was pretty weird. It's like one was probably a DJ, one was probably a bartender. I don't really know, but it definitely gave me the vibes of when I was a student at the University of Alabama. Those fraternity parties, those band parties that they used to have, of inviting all the fraternity members, and we're talking about, Delta Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Alpha, those type of fraternities, not Omega Psi Phi, not, the type of band parties that they have on game day. With those big fraternity houses, invite all those individuals to come and hang out. That's what it reminded me of, and particularly it reminded me of that because I used to do security back in 2007, 2006, 2007, 2008 in Tuscaloosa at those parties. And it reminded me heavily of those, where if you did come into those parties and you are of color, they wondered why you were there, first of all. If you wasn't there to be a bartender or security or something like that, then, you're not in the right place type thing. And that's what it reminded me of, for it to be in that spot, for it to be not of a diverse crowd whatsoever. I mean, it's not like it was even attempted to be a diverse crowd. If he would have invited some people, they would have showed up, I'm sure. It's very unfortunate. I hate to, even though people did congratulate Sam Stimson and job well done, or 13 years in, we want to see something new. And if Spirit Chair Goddess is still on that bandwagon with Sandy Stimson, we're trying to be excited, but I just don't know if it's really much to be excited for if it's just going to be a continuation of the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's what it looks like. Like I say, man, during the transition period from the runoff election to yesterday, you didn't hear from him. Well, at least a lot of African Americans didn't hear from him. He may be going to talk to other, class of people somewhere else, but didn't know anything about the administration. Uh, didn't know, still don't know anything about his ideals. Besides, he want to protect downtown public safety. The whole city's public safety is at risk. Just to come out and you, I mean, you just fresh in the office and say, my main priority right now is to increase public safety downtown Mobile. Downtown Mobile. Why? Because Grill's down there. Two of y'all stores is down there. Your wife down there. What about Thomasville? What about down the bay where our Black lives are being lost that y'all claim is based off of gun violence? That's also moving out Dawes Road and Schillinger Road. It's happening all over the city now, not just downtown. I mean, the primary focus of ending gun violence and and crime across this in Mobile should be across the city as a whole, not just in one spot. But that's the ego that he has to, protect just downtown. I didn't get that. But in a way I do. Same way I got where Senator Simpson wanted to pass his ordinance, about the blight of buildings downtown because it decreases property value. I just wonder why. Because your daughter went out and bought all the properties up downtown. And you want her to money stay up on a certain level and not decrease. And so let's be honest why you did it. You wanted to do something to protect your family before you go out of office.
Yes, it's clear and convincing. We know that downtown historically, and any downtown makes the money. To buy up that land down there, to buy up areas down there, to make more safer, to build back better. That all those things are making it great again. Are really reasons to put this fear into people's minds that public safety. But in reality, if they really wanted to do anything about public safety, it would be building better schools, better neighborhoods. Jobs is one thing. But when you can build community and neighborhoods and make them actually get into these neighborhoods, you will have people who mingle together and realize, hey, you have this craft and I have this craft. Let's put them together and build a business. But people are literally living next door to each other, down the street from each other, that have similar crafts and talents, but don't have the experiences and situations that they actually get together. We have neighborhoods that have community centers, but who really goes to their community centers? I can tell you where it probably does happen at, but it does. People don't really go to the Tomenville Community Center or Hillsdale Community Center or Dodge Community Center. People don't really go to those, except for when it's time to have one of those type of meetings, one of those type of forums. I think that in a lot of ways, getting into these schools, instead of allowing the Mobile area or the Mobile public school system to operate as its own entity, be in these schools. It's one thing to be about public safety. I get that part. But to push fear, right, into people's minds who already are consumed with fear that it is the others that are committing the crimes is a falsified narrative. Okay, because we can see in all communities in Mobile that crime is present. Okay. And it has to do with upbringing. It has to do with education. It has to do with contentment and satisfaction in life. And when you're not satisfied in your surroundings, you're not satisfied with your upbringing, your schooling, your education level, and you realize that it's not you. It's not that God didn't bless you with a sound mind and sound judgment. And you start to realize that it's truly your environment. You get upset about that. You get upset when you realize, hey, it's not necessarily policing, it's the education system, or it's my upbringing, or the fact that my parents didn't have good jobs, and so you want to make your environment better. I think that Spiro Cheragata should understand that it's more environmental that we should be concerned about if he really wants to deter crime going forward. And yes, that may be more of a long-term plan, but if short-term is putting more police cars on the streets or being more, stopping and frisking people that's just walking downtown, it's not gonna work. We're gonna be going back to New York in the 70s.
Yeah, and not planning to kick doors in at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, trying to arrest people, in predominantly black areas, and cause the lives to be taken away. But hey, it is what it is, and this is what they voted for, and that's what we got. The same old, but it's just in a new fashion. Mr. Grove, Doug Jones, it was brought to my attention that Barbara Drummond leaked the information at the NAACP Awards here in Mobile over the weekend, that Doug Jones is considering a run for governor. He's a former United States Senator from Alabama that beat Roy Moore and served about 4 years there, maybe 4 to 6 years there in Washington. He was also a former U.S. attorney here in Alabama, in Birmingham area. So he has a great name recognition. He can raise money. He's someone that Democrats need to be on the ticket to, go up against Tuberville, that can raise money and be a good force for the Democratic Party to try to even flip that seat. He does bring hope to the ticket for the Democrats, but he also bringing a little baggage too with black Democrats there in Montgomery, because how he have sided against them in so many ways, especially with the leadership of the Democratic Party there in Montgomery. When it comes down to Joe Reed and so forth, the black arm of the Democratic Party here in Alabama. But there is exciting news that he is considering a run for governor. I'm hoping that he get in. I'm not a favorite of Doug Jones, but I would consider supporting him because I know he has a better chance to propel and help Democrats be victorious if there is a chance. And in this climate, a political climate that we're in, there is a chance. But hey, we still in the deep South, where race does matter and politics does matter. So, people still going to support what they support, regardless of what's going on. But then you have those that's going to flip because they don't like what's going on. And he had a chance to flip those and be possibly be victorious like he did with him and Roy Moore for U.S. Senate. Now that he has a track record being in the United States Senate, we know where he stands. What's your thoughts on Doug Jones running for governor?
Well, the thing is that Doug Jones or anybody really, because these days, I think the whole MAGA Republican, really what is has done is divided the white vote to the point where if you're not MAGA Republican or Republican, then you're for the others. And, to be a Democrat and white doesn't mean that you're necessarily for the others. You're just for a different type of mindset and stance. And I think that in a lot of ways, there are other individuals that's coming out, that want to run for governor. I think that Doug Jones does provide that type of leadership and experience, but in truth, is he what we need, and is he what a lot of Republicans will vote for in Alabama? And that will be no, because even though he do align with some of their principles, at the end of the day, he's a confirmed Democrat, right? So, I think that it's going to be a tight race because there's going to be multiple individuals that's trying to go out to be governor. You have a lot of people coming about these days that's trying to get on that ticket. But like we've seen with the Spiro race, it's about who raises the most money. And unfortunately, you have someone like Tommy Tuberville who is raising a lot of funds and showing his true self as well. And recently he's been in the news talking about SNAP benefits and not realizing that the majority of SNAP benefit beneficiaries in Alabama are white, did vote for Trump. So, we have to pull our funds together and pull towards one side of things too. I think that having so many individuals from either side creates this, especially the Democratic side, creates this, disunity, and it creates money being pulled in multiple directions, which we needed being pulled in one direction. And one thing that Republicans do well is that they pull towards one agenda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really don't know if Doug Jones is more liberal or he's a moderate Democrat. But I'm thinking, I don't know. Let me see. Be quiet because I'm about to, calling me out on this. But I don't know. But I think as time goes, if he does enter the race, we'll learn more about his policies and what he believes. And that kind of shifts the tone of, what people would like to see in November, because in November, Republicans can vote for Democrats and Democrats can vote for Republicans cross ticket. But in the primary, it's only your party can vote for you. But yeah, it remains to see. I mean, Alabama these a strong ticket in 2026. Today is Super Tuesday. It's Super Tuesday outside of a midterm. And there's a lot of elections going on across the country. From California to New York, there is a lot of elections, and the first race has been called for this evening. And that's Democrat Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger has won the Virginia governor seat there in Virginia, beating the Black African-American Republican, MAGA Republican, Early Sears, sorry that you lost the race, baby. Now you tell me you just jumped on the bandwagon of Donald Trump. He didn't even come down to campaign for you. And it lets you know Republicans, they don't care about a person of color. They didn't support you. Come on now. Really? And now I'm guessing tonight and sometime tonight, Republicans gonna hit social media and they're gonna come out and talk, try to, steer away from their loss. Especially Donald Trump gonna have something to say. And he might just go after her because she's Black. She caused the Republicans to lose. But it is what it is. We have a Democratic governor-elect of Virginia. We don't have the election results from Adani and the former governor there in New York City, but we expected Adani to pull off this election on tonight. We have Detroit, Michigan, mayoral race going on tonight. We have a lot of mayoral races going on in the state of Georgia. We have a governor's race and state legislative races going on in New Jersey. We'll be hoping that the Democrat will pull this off in New Jersey. We have races going on in several special legislative seats that has been redrawn. It's going happening right now in election polls are just closing. In the state of Mississippi, I think there are about 9 or 10 seats that's on the ballot today in the state of Mississippi, hoping Democrats will pick up in Georgia or all of those seats. We have races taking place in Minnesota. We have races taking place in California, which is very important, and it's the only race in the entire state of California. That's Prop 50 that will be redrawing the congressional lines there in California, giving Democrats a supermajority in their congressional delegation, picking up 5 seats out there. It's Super Tuesday all across the country. And in Georgia, we have mayor races from Atlanta to small towns all over the state of Georgia on tonight, just like we did here in Alabama back in August. It's happening. It's happening all over the country tonight. And they are saying, Mr. Grove, that they're watching the results tonight. And Virginia is the first telling. It's flipped from Republican control to, and we know how Virginia politics works. When the governor wins, all of the state constitutional seats usually go to the Democrat as well, all to the same party that wins the governor's seats. And a lot of the pundits, political pundits, are watching this to see, would this be a referendum on Donald Trump? Every election tonight, would it be a referendum on Donald Trump? Will people side with Democrats tonight in a majority across this country in the vote? And man, I've seen pictures on the internet today where the dogs and cats was in the line with their owners, and people were saying that the dogs and cats was casting their ballots too because they are fed up with the political junk that's happening in this country. But yeah, man, tonight is a big night. It's a Super Tuesday outside of midterms in a presidential election. And man, I'm telling you, it's some stuff on the ballots tonight, some races to watch in some states. And I'm telling you, wow, like in Detroit, man, Detroit is elected their first mayor in 14 years, 16 years. It's just a lot. It's a lot, man. What you think was going to happen tonight?
Looking at Virginia's race and the fact that they have their first woman, that is encouraging. I think that just having a lot of those voting, historical voting periods and getting Republican white males on the ballot. It's kind of like the country is sick of it. The country is sick of it. And it all boils down to Trump. It all boils down to Trump. And that is the reason why people are fed up and sick of it, Even with Biden, they wasn't, too fed up with it. They seen him trying. They seen him still pushing. But with Trump, you see, people are trying to switch gears. And I think that in a way, that is definitely how people are voting on tonight. Even Republicans are quietly switching sides, at least temporarily. And it's because they understand that even when the Republican controls the Senate, the House, and the executive branch, we still can't get on board with having a decision. It's the selfishness of Republicans in leadership that we're seeing the reason why our Republican constituents are switching sides,
Right.
And I think it's very important. I think it's enlightening. I think that when you have I think that it actually supposed to have happened in Mobile, but it didn't. And so, um, um, but at any rate, I think that it's important to watch this election to see what's going on, and hopefully we can get to a point where we can end this government shutdown. So.
Yeah, and man, I'm telling you, with the SNAP benefits being cut off, two judges have ordered Trump administration to resume SNAP benefits immediately, paying out November benefits from the reserve funds. And then yesterday, Trump said he would do that, but yet then he switched and came out today and said, "Oh no, we're not going to pay SNAP benefits for the month of November until the government reopens." Basically, he's using food in this country as a weapon to get what he wants now. And people better wake up and realize what he's doing. He's a crook, and he is a dictator, and he's just an enemy right before our eyes. That's plain, point, and simple. But I did see today, for the 14th time, Democrats voted against reopening the government, and the Republican-led bill that they're trying to push through to get the government reopened, shut it down for the 14th time. Now, after tonight, John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, did provide some type of hope, because they know that things not looking good in their favor as a Republican Party. That they're going to work for the rest of this week to try to get the government reopened on a bipartisan way. If that entails of extending Obamacare subsidies for another 2 years, so that which the Democrats would buy into, and will get a leverage and room to negotiate further, and then we'd be voting for a new president and new Congress at that time, and that would give Democrats the opportunity to vote to reopen the government. But I think common sense is coming to some Republicans there in Washington that they're on the wrong side of this. The polls are showing that people are not favoring their type of leadership in this matter, or period. Man, I just hate it that America has to go through this under this type of leadership that we have in the White House. And families have to suffer.
Yeah, I think that, with the food stamp situation, everybody knows that the food stamp situation or the SNAP benefits do and have been for decades getting out of hand. We recognize that. We know it's been getting out of hand, but at the same time, should they be cut off immediately like that? No. This is the only thing, except for the rule of law, but this is the only thing that separates the United States from a third world country. Without SNAP benefits, you put millions of Americans into the situation that, hey, I got to go out and you can create business, but creating business takes time. It takes energy, it takes money, but to really and truly get out and fix your immediate situation, you're going to have to go out and take. And that's by any means necessary. Mm-hmm. And I do not advocate for stealing or taking, but people are not going to just sit at home and starve.
Right. And they are promoting and encouraging more violence in the streets, and more crime, because that's what's going to happen. People going to start kicking in doors, breaking doors to grocery stores, start stealing. The Republican Party and the Republican leadership of this country is promoting that type of activity at this current time, because that's what it's going to lead to.
Yeah, it definitely is. I've heard instances of purge. You can go on Netflix and you see, and purge movies coming on again. there's instances that you see happening in social media of people advocating and getting, not advocating necessarily, but understanding that, hey, people are not going to just sit at home, especially Americans, especially Americans. People are not going to sit at home and not eat nothing. We don't know how to make gari and mix it with water and mix it up and eat it like people in West Africa do. People don't know how to smash beans and mix it with some rice and some sardines and eat it for subsistence and call it a night and go to sleep. People don't know how to do those things. I mean, they will resort to that, but what they're going to resort to is trying to fixate their minds on eating the current way that the way that they currently eat, and that's going to the grocery store and buying food. So, the Walmarts, the Targets, even Target, even, Piggly Wiggly or Winn-Dixie or Publix, and even Greer's may have people coming in there and take it. And so, I think it's beneficial to bring SNAP back unequivocally. But, at the same time, we do need some policing, because I'm going to know firsthand how it feels to have a roof over your head and food and money coming in. When you have food and money coming in, and that the food money is coming in every month, and you have a roof over your head, whether it's your apartment or Section 8 or whatever it is, the fact of the matter is, or whether you had a house passed down to you, whatever it is, I think that in a lot of ways, it limits your desire to go after and get it. Even for 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40, it doesn't matter. Even for those individuals that's in the middle of their primal years, the lack of desire to create is at an all-time low because the substance is taken care of. And the main reason why human beings are aggressive in their plight in life is because of substance. They want a roof over their head. They want food in their stomach. They want clothes on their backs. But if you take away, if you give us food and substance and clothes on our backs, we lack the desire to go out there and work. And I think that although I want SNAP benefits to, come back, I do feel like when they do, they need to be policed, because there's individuals out there that's receiving SNAP benefits, and because they are, we know it, they're having another child, they're having an additional child, their fourth and fifth and sixth kid at 25 years old, because they know all they have to do is get a small time job and they're good. Yeah. They're eager to be single because staying in Section 8 housing, you can't have a man. Right. So, these things are afforded for individuals who need them. I get that part, but in a lot of ways, people have taken advantage of those luxuries, and because of that, they don't study, they don't get the grades in school, they don't even attempt to go to college, or they don't attempt to create business. And that's where it's at. If you can create business, if every single person got out of high school and either went to college or created business, the world would be a better place. But that doesn't happen. They create business doing illicit things. And I just think that in a lot of ways, food stamps, like I said, need to be policed.
Yeah, along with a lot of the other number of items on that agenda, such as Section 8, and I don't agree or take it away. I don't think we should just take it away from the most vulnerable, needed individuals. But there are some a small fraction out there that are bruising the system just because they can and then get away with it. But yeah, I'm with you on that one. We need to police that system a little bit more. Um, yeah, in the state of Virginia, man, Virginia tonight have elected a woman governor and a woman lieutenant governor on tonight, and that's the first election that has been called on tonight on the East Coast as polls is beginning to close. In the state of Georgia, you have two statewide offices on the ballot tonight with the Public Service Commission. Also, Atlanta's Mayor Andre Dickens is up for re-election. Polls have been extended by 1 hour. The judge have ordered the polls to be open additional 1 hour in Atlanta due to boasted turnout. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, people are voting today. People are voting today. It's Super Tuesday, and we're going to digest all this on tonight. And then we'll talk about this on Thursday, the future of America, and going to our midterms in 2026 on Thursday. I also want to put some, in your ear tonight. Coming up on Buzz Report News, keep an eye out on a published article that we're going to release soon called George Wallace 2.0 in Alabama. George Wallace 2.0 in Alabama. Getting ready for our special election edition, focusing on the state offices that's up for election in 2026, and we're going to do a special little take on that. That's coming your way. We did something this week on conservative communists and socialist communists, and we talked about that. Yeah, we're gonna do something here in Alabama. George Wallace 2.0. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. So it's happening, and I want y'all to pay attention. It's happening. It's just happening in a new fashion that they think that we're not paying attention to, and there's no more out there that's really talking about it. We just on the bandwagon because we just ride the bandwagon, But yeah, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna keep you informed throughout this whole entire cycle until the last votes is cast in 2026. So, but it's just the beginning, and we're gonna shake some heads and get some feet to moving and some mouths to talking. The Bird Report is here to keep you informed. Mr. Grove, man, it has been another great show. I hate to get out of here. I really want to do an extended show to talk about this election tonight that's happening across this country. Remember, we got to get out of here. Maybe pick it back up on Thursday on some of that. But I know definitely want to talk about the aftermath of the night. And the direction that we're headed. And before we get out of here, just lead the people how they can get in contact with you so that you can continue to provide them assistance with open enrollment of Medicare and enrollment to Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we do have and are in coming up on the last 30 days of open enrollment season for Medicare. You know that the government enrollment season lasts a little bit longer, but right now we're in Medicare enrollment. Contact us at Work with GIP. That's www.workwithgip.com, and we can set you up with the Medicare plans in Alabama. We are licensed with all of the Medicare companies in the state of Alabama and in the Florida Panhandle. If you are in need of any type of Medicare that's for individuals who are 65 and older or disabled individuals, contact us at workwithgip.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Listen, make sure y'all go to their website at workwithgip.com and provide your information and details and contact information, and somebody will get back with you to help you or your loved one. Make sure that you all are in the right plan and coverage and that y'all have some health care moving into 2026. Listen, this has been another great episode of Uplifting Buzz Podcast. And I hate to get out of here so early, but I do have a church service I got to get to. I forgot all about tonight. But my apologies. We will pick this back up on Thursday. I enjoy bringing you this show with my co-host, Mr. Marcus Grove, each and every Tuesday and Thursday. Remember to like us on all social media outlets, and also you can listen to us and subscribe to our podcast on all streaming podcast sites such as iHeart, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and our website at www.upliftingbuzzpodcast.com. Listen, this has been a great day. Listen, please join us again this Thursday for another edition of Uplifting Buzz Podcast. God bless you.
You've been listening to another episode of Uplifting Buzz Podcast with Gary Johnson and Marcus Grove, where we bring you non-biased conversations that focus on all things happening yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Visit our website and share your thoughts and stay informed. Until next time, be blessed.